It certainly is for Linda Noskova. A 4-1 lead in this opening set after 24 minutes. Just heard Jabeur ask for the physio at the next changeover for her back, so it clearly is an issue.
Yeah, we can see that from her stretching and her movements, unfortunately.
Service speed, it's going to get gobbled up.
Yeah, it's going to get attacked from Noskova. She really has no mercy. She just hits through the shots.
Lap 30.
It's like watching a vintage sports car which is just breaking down. It's just not functioning at optimum, is it?
No, not at the moment. I hope it's nothing serious for her.
Mm.
$15, $30.
But with a back injury of any description, it's going to affect every part of your game.
Yeah. Especially the serve.
Especially the serve. Caught the outside of the line just.
30 all.
It was a very good rally and just stayed in the point, but saw the opening down the line. Just made a decision to go for it.
$14, $30.
All about the placement and the spin on that serve.
News.
She's battling with everything she's got out there at the moment. Problem is she's hampered and restricted and
Advantage, Jabeur.
Noskova is pouncing on that second serve. She's seen plenty of them.
Game, Jabeur.
Well, credit to her, the world number 2, really fighting hard.
Noskova Linda by 4 games to 2.
Chasing the teenager in this opening set, who got the early break and is doing a good job of holding on to it at the moment.
Love.
She looks dejected, though. Don't need an injury so early in the year.
She doesn't look quite herself, does she, Ons? Looks a bit in pain.
Fernandez. 15-30.
Noskova just has to concentrate on taking care of her own business here, notwithstanding what's going on with the world number 2. Genius. She's got that ability with those sublime hand skills.
Yeah, this was a very good angle from the return. Really short. Noskova was pulled out of the court. And look at the touch. The ball barely bounced.
Such flat hitting from Noskova, ball shooting through the court.
Yeah, she's guiding that slice a little bit. It's not hitting through the shot, perhaps because of the back.
Yes.
Calibration is just off. She just can't seem to get the range of movement at the moment that she would want. 15 unforced errors, that is hugely uncharacteristic for Ons Jabeur.
Game, Noskova.
Nice finish.
New ball, please.
Again, she saves break points, and again, she re-establishes that 3-game cushion. Well, Linda Noskova waits and wonders. Jabeur continues to get treatment on that lower back. She's taking some painkillers as well. I just wonder, Tina, with the Australian Open just around the corner, if there's any doubt about an issue like that, whether it's worth the risk.
Yeah, you can see that there's a lot on Ons's mind. She's not very happy. She's thinking about everything. She had to pull out last year, and she will be thinking about that as well. She doesn't want to miss the Australian Open, the first Grand Slam of the year. So I do hope for her it's nothing serious, but there is certainly a lot on her mind.
Well, she retired in that quarterfinal against Kovinic, but it wasn't enough time for the injury to settle down in time to make the start line in Melbourne, and that definitely will be on her mind here. It just looks like she's in discomfort, increasingly so. I just wonder how much of an issue it's been all week, in all honesty, given the struggles with the first serve.
Time.
Get a pretty early indication of the things have just loosened up a bit.
Take your seats quickly, please. Players are ready. Thank you. Love 15.
Just rolled that serve in.
Yeah, 110 k's an hour. It's difficult to have the game if the serve doesn't work. If you have problems with the serve, it's difficult to follow it up.
Out. Love 30.
She's clearly saving the back, isn't she? Look at the speed at the back.
Miss Jabeur is challenging the goal on the left far
The thing is, as
sideline.
well,
The ball was
she
ball
loses
out.
this set, she could be looking at another hour and a half out there. Try and turn things around.
Ball stands. Love 40. Miss Jabeur has one challenge remaining.
And then if she does turn them around, she needs to play another match tomorrow. So
15-40.
And next week here in Adelaide with Adelaide International 2. 2 more set points.
Ah! 13-40.
Battling as hard as you would imagine.
Yes.
3 set points saved.
Jabeur is challenging the goal on the left near sideline. The ball was called out. Balls in return.
Nothing wrong with the challenging, that's for sure.
Advantage Jabeur.
Outpacing Noskova in this opening set. Speed is returning to that serve, which is an encouraging sign.
Game Jabeur.
Jabeur survives in this opening set. 5 points in a row, won,
Noskova Linda by
and
5
3
games
set
to
points
3.
saved. Almost a spring in the step. almost.
Yeah, she's definitely trying, and well, that was a pity for Noskova. Wasted opportunities for her. A few unforced errors on those set points. On her serve now.
Love.
Heading towards 20 unforced errors in this set.
Yeah, that's very unusual for her, isn't it? She normally doesn't hit that many in 3 sets.
Love.
Inside out forehand. Getting the job done for Noskova.
It's not easy for her. She knows something is going on the other side of the net. She needs to be focused on her own game. She's doing it pretty well in this game. 3 set points for her.
Game of first set, Noskova.
The dream week continues for Linda Noskova.
6-3.
But a bit of a nightmare for Ons Jabeur. The back is clearly a problem. The teenager strikes first in 45 minutes.
Time.
Question is, how much is that back going to loosen up in the second set?
Second set.
Jabeur still trying to stretch it out
Jabeur
at the
to
change of
serve.
ends. Plenty of zip in that forehand.
Much more intensity in the first point.
Love.
She hasn't really found her rhythm. Not in total fluidity, Noskova, either. It's been a very stop-start set. Too many unforced errors punctuating it, making it difficult for both.
To 15. 30 all.
Tremendous depth.
Got the line there, Noskova.
She made 6 semi-finals last year on Jabeur, won all of them.
Oh. 40-30. Game, Jabeur.
Dealt with that very well.
First game,
Going to
second
have a
set.
sit down. She's just going to walk to the other end. Wonder if she'll have a chat to her team. These are the numbers in that opening set, and you can see the unforced errors, Tina.
Yeah.
A little too big for both of them.
Both of them. It hasn't been a clean set at all. There was not much game, to be honest. But Ons is clearly suffering from her back pain, and it is a worry. She needs to make things quick, actually. If she wants to continue, any longer points will do more damage to her back. She's not happy. She's got a lot of things on her mind, especially with the Australian Open coming up.
Lap 15.
Oh, made it.
15 all.
Lovely control on that volley.
Yeah, of course, she's playing it smart, more Noskova. You know, hitting drop shots, making Ons Jabeur move, but this was a lovely stretch.
30-15.
It's difficult when you have the opponent on the other side. Clearly something is not right with Ons. You still have to focus on yourself, execute your game plan.
40-15.
Part of you's thinking, this is the world number 2 I'm facing. I could be making a final. It's difficult. They always say, stay in the moment, of course, but it's difficult not to get ahead of yourself.
40-30.
It's dropped in. Just blocked that return. Beginning to find a bit more on that forehand.
Yeah, it was quite a lot of pace on that forehand. Surprised Noskova a little bit.
Let second serve. Advantage, Jabeur.
First break of the Noskova serve in the match. And Jabeur has made exactly the start she would have wanted to this second set. And maybe, just maybe, that back pain is easing a little bit. Noskova certainly struggling to find her rhythm, maybe struggling to deal with the uncertainty of what's going to come across the net from Jabeur.
Yeah.
15 love.
She's done really well, Noskova, to be honest, to finish that first set, because there was a lot going on. Physio on the court, Ons with back problems, a lot on your mind. But seems like Ons is relaxing a little bit now in the second set.
That is Jabeur at her best.
Yeah, maybe, you know, the tablets have kicked in, the anti-inflammatory tablets that she got in the changeover for Ons, and Noskova is trying to make her run, but this drop shot was slightly too high, easy for Ons to get there, and her hands obviously are so good, as always.
14 love.
She's rattled a little bit here. Needs to stem the flow of unforced errors.
Game, Jabeur.
Not able to do that. Jabeur has cruised into a 3-love lead at the start of the second set.
Love.
The forehand is definitely leading the recovery for Jabeur. More first serves from her as well, which are all positive signs.
Yeah, the forehand is starting to work for her, and it's the shot that she likes to dictate and put her opponents on the back foot, but she's hitting winners now with that shot as well, so it's giving her some confidence in this second set. So she's clearly back.
Out. 30.
She'd spread the play quite beautifully.
Yeah, she did everything right until the last shot, until the execution, and that volley wasn't too difficult. She needs to make those shots.
Struggling to find her first serve now. 6 from 13 in the second set for Noskova. Nothing wrong with that.
Deuce.
It's very focused. It could have been a drop shot, but she decided to make it long, and it's a good choice.
Kept asking the question. Got what she wanted in the end.
Aggressive play from Noskova in the last few points. Really looking to come to the net.
Game Noskova.
Survived a little crisis in that game.
Jabeur by 3 games to 1.
As you can see, is still bothering on Jabeur. Double break would have been a really nice cushion. Single break is always a little bit less secure. Doesn't take much to change things.
Faith in love.
There's that backhand again.
Moved away nicely from the ball and got the angle very close to the line. Perfect execution.
Let for serve.
Stunning.
30-15. 30 all. Out. 40-30.
Backhand can do such damage.
Yes.
But that cross-court return is really good. It's really accurate, close to the line. Gets her opponents out of the position. Especially Ons has to stretch on the backhand side. It could be painful.
Advantage.
Is serving better,
Jabeur.
and she's really changed the dynamic in the unforced errors. 20 in the opening set, just 5 in this second set.
Game, Jabeur.
Keeps the pressure on in terms of the scoreboard,
Jabeur leads by 4 games to 1.
and the fight back continues from the top seed.
Time.
Definitely encouraging signs for Jabeur fans. She's still not settled though. Anxious conversation with her coach Ysaline.
50 love.
What's it like, Tina, when you're playing out there with an injury and you don't really trust your body?
Well, it's difficult. I think she's thinking that she can still win this match. That's why she continues playing.
15 all.
Noskova hasn't been playing that well today, and Jabeur is sensing that, so if Noskova can raise her level a little bit. It's a really difficult match today for both of them, to be honest.
Yeah, 26 unforced errors each.
13, 15.
That does rather sum it up. I wonder if fatigue is a factor, mental and maybe a little bit of physical as well for Noskova, as well as not dealing with the situation out there today.
Well, she probably hasn't dealt with similar situations, especially playing world number 2, and was clearly not 100% fit. First is you have to deal with playing such a good player, and then, you know, with the injury as well. So we saw some drop shots that she tried to hit, tried to make her opponent move, but they weren't that successful, and maybe they were not her game. That was amazing. Just stretched her hand out and went for the cross-court winner. So Noskova, it's not easy for her at all. This is more like it, you know, make the first serve, go for your shots, try to stay aggressive inside the line.
She's a player, though, who needs rhythm in rallies, and she's just not had that today. And it's kind of showed, unlike yesterday, nearly 3 hours of all the rhythm she could handle against Azarenka.
Advantage Noskova.
That's much more like it, yes. Needs to focus on her own game, her own serve. Another very good, accurate return from Ons to the side.
Teed it up superbly.
Advantage Jabeur.
She's solving the puzzle.
Yeah, really good tactic from Ons. This slice, hitting it down the line, nice and low. Noskova on the run, and down the line forehand, really accurate. Again, close to the line. She's playing well.
Yes.
What a response! I mean, this game is very important. I have a feeling, you know, if Noskova can win this, she'll get more confidence.
One from 8 in terms of break points for Jabeur today. Going to get another one.
Yeah, we can expect short points from Jabeur. Doesn't want to keep them long.
That's the Ons Jabeur we all know and love.
Jabeur leads by 5 games to 1.
Kamoun on his feet, acknowledging the effort being put in here, and it is a mighty one when you consider what she went through in the opening set with that back, which is still bothering her. But certainly when you look at the scoreboard and the stats, it's loosened up. There's no doubt about that.
Love.
We've got a match on our hands.
30 love.
Free-flowing tennis that Jabeur thrives on seems to be back.
30. 30-15.
Smartly going through the middle of the court.
15.
Good play from Jabeur. Set points in the second set.
Game on second set, Jabeur.
Game on in Adelaide, and Jabeur finding something like the kind of form she would want here. Crucially, the back is better, that's the key. Going the distance in the semi-final.
Final set, Noskova to serve. Take your seats quickly, please. Players are ready. Thank you.
Lovely aggressive point from Jabeur. This first point of the third set. Crowd is enjoying it. Full house today.
Lap 30.
Really trying to be aggressive Ons with the returns, trying to make the points short.
Point of the match so far.
Yeah, she really had to dig deep there in the point. She's definitely eliminated the unforced errors. It's a very different game now for Jabeur.
15-14.
30 in the contest for Noskova in the match, 26 for Jabeur, but 20 came in the first set. Just 6 in the second. Noskova's coach, Thomas Krupa, reflective.
30-40.
Part of the learning curve, though, when you're 18 years of age.
It's been a great learning experience for her, coming through the qualifying.
Yes.
Beating a top 10 player, Kasatkina, for the first time, and playing number 2 player in the world. She wouldn't expect to be here, Noskova.
Advantage, Noskova.
Still not out of this match, though.
Starting to get the run around from Jabeur.
Advantage,
Smart
Noskova.
serve into the body.
Game, Noskova.
Nice finish. Handled that pressure very well.
First game.
Having to
final
fend
set.
off 3 breakpoint chances in this opening game of the final set, but doing it very, very effectively. And that will give her a real boost.
Yeah, Ons has really lifted her level in the second set. Look at the first serve. First serve's won. She only lost 1 point in that department. Really raised her game in general. When the first serve comes, you know, the game follows normally, and she's hit a lot of winners, eliminated unforced errors from 20 to 6, and that's a huge difference. That's why the result 6-1. But we're back in the third set. Anything is possible.
La 15.
Haven't seen a double fault since the opening set. Opening service game, in fact. Did not miss by much. Lovely idea. Backhand coughed up 7 unforced errors in the second set. Another one there. So good.
40-15.
Well, I was about to ask a question, could she be a bit more aggressive on second serve return? Not in that instance, because that second serve was so good. But in general, Tina.
Yeah, well, she's also struggling slightly to find her rhythm, and she's good with returning. She should certainly try to put more pressure on her opponent on a second serve. That's...
Game, Jabeur.
I don't know, Ons she can mix it up as well. So if she keeps her opponent guessing, then it's more difficult to do that.
1 game on.
She's definitely serving better than she was.
Yeah, matching each other, aren't they?
Much better, yeah. The match is, the level is higher in this third set.
2 holds to get the final set underway.
Love.
Teasing her opponent and tormenting her with her hand skills.
15 all.
Her drop shots, she really executes them well. It's short enough. She stretches for the volley over the net, over her head. That is sensational.
Well, down but not out on Jabeur by any manner or means. What a courageous performance it's been, battling that back injury.
Yeah, this was a good drop shot. It stayed down low. Look at that slide she does. Oh. Good footwork there from Noskova. Plenty of time on the forehand. Uses her legs to hit through the shot.
Game, Noskova.
Super strike. And it's nice intensity from Noskova here. Just maintaining that scoreboard pressure in this final set. Well, it's bubbling up quite nicely. I feel like Noskova's level's gone up. Jabeur is definitely free-flowing.
15 love. Left for serve. Left for serve. Jabeur is challenging the
I think
ball
that's
on the
worth a
right
little
near
look.
sideline. The ball was called out.
Oh, excellent call. Well done,
15
sir.
all. Jabeur has 2 challenges remaining.
He's relieved.
Yes. Just pulled up, didn't she, after both of those serves?
Yeah. Well, the injury is not going to go away. It's just that in the second set, those tablets kicked in, but...
Still cannot quite find her range consistently, Noskova. Yeah, that's the aggression with the second serve return we were asking her to find, and she found it there.
Yeah, Noskova has raised the level now in the third set. Is more focused and has regrouped a bit. Look at the look in her eyes. She wants it.
Game, Noskova.
There's the break. All of a sudden, daylight between the two of them, and it's the teenager who's setting the pace in this final set. Maybe the tablets are wearing off.
Yeah. Just looks like she's in pain again. And it's showing with serves. She's only hit 3 out of 11 for serves.
Leylah.
Oh, that's just rubbing salt in the wound.
Seven aces so far for Noskova.
Super tennis.
13-15.
Again, dictating with the forehand, pushing her opponent out of the court. Getting down the line for the winner. She needs those points to be short ons.
Good
serving.
15. Game, Noskova.
Oh, that is a no-nonsense hold of serve to back up the break and put real pressure on the world number 2 now. Mountain to climb in this final set. Service game coming here for Jabeur, who seems to be just struggling again to find that first serve in this third set. It's 3 from 11 so far.
Love 15.
And the service speed has dropped again, which is always an indication.
Let's for serve. On.
Cleverly done. Supreme anticipation from Jabeur, as always, in and around the net.
That was a brave second serve, very close to the line, good change up to the forehand.
Oh my goodness! Well, she made that look so casual. The return was high quality, but the response looked like it was even better. No, it wasn't.
40-13. Jabeur.
Jabeur holds on. If she can hang around in this final set, well, maybe the nerves will become a factor for Noskova.
Yeah, I mean, she's playing number 2 player in the world, so she will be thinking about it.
Thinking more about a first final as well.
Yeah.
Getting closer to that.
It's just a matter of focusing on every point now for her. Not go ahead too much.
Love.
Every point matters right now. This time is starting to run out. Crunch.
30 love. Let for serve. Please, thank you.
Yeah, looks like she's really struggling again. The errors are creeping in again. Double already what she produced in the second set. Beautifully constructed.
Well, she can manage to dictate with a forehand. She's so dangerous. Puts her opponent on the back foot. But Noskova has been serving quite well in this third set. She's won almost 80% of her serves on the second serve, which means that her game is on. Her game for the baseline is on.
Backhand was on as well.
40-30.
Just stands inside the line, takes it on a rise.
Finished superbly. Just a game away now from a first WTA final and potentially at the expense of the world number 2. it's now or never. Has to hold on to her serve here, or that will be the end of her week in Adelaide.
15 love.
Well, wants to put the pressure on the teenager's shoulders and make her serve it out. That's a different kettle of fish. Oh, so's that return.
30-15.
Again, look at where she's standing inside the baseline and going for that shot. Great angle she's producing throughout the match, actually. On both sides, she can do it on backhand as well.
$14-15.
Very keen to try and get after that. A little too keen, as it turned out.
Game, Jabeur.
Jabeur does what she had to. And now it's all down to this for Noskova.
By 5 games to 3.
All those serving drills, Tina.
Yeah, can she get over the line?
Yep.
Love 15.
Well, the first point always so important. It sets the tone a little bit, and that's not the tone she wanted. It's better.
Obviously, for a service, very important. She needs to get as many as she can in this game.
It's been a painful experience in more ways than one. Nerveless. Not yet, says Jabeur.
40-30.
Didn't quite do enough on that serve. There's another chance here for her to produce a good shot. Good first shot.
How good does that feel? For 18-year-old Linda Noskova, a first WTA final is hers at the expense of the world number 2, who battled a back injury bravely throughout. At what cost? That's the question for Ons Jabeur. With a tournament next week here in Adelaide and the Australian Open around the corner, we wish her well and a speedy recovery but we'll see this young lady again tomorrow. Outstanding. Taking her place in the final with a 3-6 set victory.
Yeah, that was very good for her. I mean, in the third set that she managed to regroup, refocus, and really focus on her own game. She served well when she needed to. This girl has got not only a lot of potential, but she's got guts, and if she can do that against world number 2, who wasn't fit today, we have to admit that she's got back problems. We wish her well. Always exciting to watch her, but she was struggling, especially in the second set. She really was struggling with the pain. In the first set, and then she lifted her game, and we will see her again, hopefully next week, if she can manage to fix her back. But yeah, again, all the positives are on this side. This girl has managed to get over the line and managed to win against the biggest name so far.
Well, she came to Adelaide with just 2 top 100 wins in her career. Now she has 8, and 2 of them are top 10 wins. Beating Daria Kasatkina, the world number 8 in round 1 after coming through qualifying. Let's not forget that. And now she takes out the world number 2 and managed to find a way. It was difficult out there with so little rhythm, but the smile says it all. Let's hear from her.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've seen something very special here this evening. Give a hand for A Star Is Born in Adelaide. How does that feel, Linda, to have the biggest win of your career over the number 2 player in the world in a city that you've never been to before?
Definitely a tough match. I don't think that any of us, neither of us played like 100%. So I'm glad I had the last point to win. So I'm just really glad to play like this.
We stood here on Monday after you had saved match points in qualifying. You saved a match point yesterday against Viktoria Azarenka, a Grand Slam winner. How are you doing that?
I don't know. I'm just going for it 100% all the time. So it's just in or out. So I'm just trying to push through.
So against Arena tomorrow, have you ever played her before?
What?
Have you ever played Arena before?
What do you think? No. No.
Well, we wish you all the best. May the dream continue for the rest of the week. Well played.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Linda Noskova talking to Liz Smiley. Very downbeat about everything. Very cool, calm and collected. Admitting that it wasn't her best level, but it was good enough on the day because Jabeur was injured.
Yeah, and that's what counts at the end of the day. She managed to win, and it was the biggest win of her career. And she's playing another top player tomorrow. She's really having a time of her life at the moment. I'm surprised she's staying so calm. I'll be jumping up and down.
I think she might be feeling a bit tired. Because that was a mental effort as much as anything else to get through today. It's so hard when you're playing someone who's clearly struggling. And the numbers reflect that.
Yeah, I mean, every set was very different. Important is for Noskova to come through at the end of the day. Third set was the most important, and a lot of unforced errors. 40 on both sides. That's a lot, isn't it? More winners for Jabeur. But it's funny. She said she goes for every shot. Well, she does, but that means that she doesn't think. This is what the youth brings. She just doesn't think. She goes for her shots. She enjoys her game, and yeah, she's a very, very talented young player.
Well, she shares that approach to tennis in the same regard as Aryna Sabalenka, so we can expect the same kind of game plan from both tomorrow. You feel a huge amount of sympathy for Jabeur, given what she was dealing with out there today. And it was clearly bothering her a lot, the back. But so impressed with the way Noskova held it together in that final set. It would have been easy to be distracted and not get over the finish line, but she did. So credit to her for that. So we'll see her again tomorrow. And that will be a final to look forward to. Given the week she's had, you definitely wouldn't rule her out at all. The number 2 seed here, Aryna Sabalenka, in the final tomorrow against the qualifier Linda Noskova. Can't wait. It'll be fun. Tina, thank you very much indeed. Before my voice goes completely, we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Thanks for your company today, and see you then.
the players amped up for this semi-final, please join me in welcoming the former world #1 and the 3rd seed here at the Adelaide International. It is Daniil Medvedev. And now, 373 weeks as world #1, with 21 Grand Slam titles to his name. The top seed here in Adelaide from Serbia is Novak Djokovic.
Well, once again, a rapturous roar here on centre court for the 21-time Grand Slam champion. That is Novak Djokovic. It was the semi-final I think most neutrals were hoping for at the start of the week. It's a matchup that has been a Grand Slam final on multiple occasions. So who will come out on top of this one? They had a couple of blistering, brilliant battles last year. Who's going to strike first in 2023? Dom Inglot, alongside myself, Pete Hodges. Right now, Dom, are these the best 2 players in the world for you?
I mean, very close. I mean, obviously, if you had, Carlos Alcaraz here, then maybe he'd be in the question. But in terms of who the Australian crowds, now that Alcaraz has pulled out of Australia, would want to see a match, this is it. This is the blockbuster match, I think. And not only that, they've got quality tennis players, but they've had such close matches. And you expect that this one could easily go to a 3rd. I mean, I think for a 250, this is absolutely brilliant for a semi-final. So this Adelaide crowd must be buzzing. I am.
She's going to help us with the coin toss. So, gents, after the coin toss, we'll do a picture both ways, if that's okay. If you want to take the white boxes for the towels, please, Daniil. Take the yellow boxes for your towels, Novak. And everything else the same as we've been doing all week. Any questions? Daniil, heads, tails? Heads. Heads. Thank you, Leylah. Go for it. Perfect. Tails. Novak? Serve. You're going to serve? You're going to stay? Okay, we'll do a picture. So you stand here, Leylah. Just one both ways, please, guys.
So that was Novak Djokovic winning the toss and electing to serve first, and that's been something that he has done very well all week. Only been broken twice throughout the tournament. Really, both players coming into this match in fine form. Always question marks at the start of the season, how fit a player might be looking, how the off-season have gone, what changes they may have made, whether there's a bit of rust as well to get going. You might have said that there was a bit of rust for Daniil Medvedev in his first round match against Lorenzo Sonego, but since then both of these players have looked very, very good. So we are expecting fireworks in this one. Of course, they know each other so well. 13th time that they are meeting. Novak Djokovic against Daniil Medvedev. They've met in Australia as well a fair few times as well. And it's always Djokovic who has come out on top. As you can see, light fading in Adelaide. And what do we know about Daniil Medvedev right now? He's ranked 7th in the world, which feels strange to say. Of course, he's a former world #1. Reached 5 finals last year, but it was a year that was affected by injury and all sorts of other things. Of course, couldn't play Wimbledon as well because of his nation. But he comes into this one, you would think, in form. What's he got to do today, Dom, though, to get the better of Djokovic for the first time since the US Open final in 2021?
That is the golden question, which I think everybody wants the answer to, and many a better man have not come with it than me. But I think realistically, you have to just constantly get Djokovic off balance, and that is one of the hardest things to do in tennis. If there's anybody who can probably out-rally him from a backhand, it may be Medvedev. I mean, his backhand is rock solid, so that's a big factor. He can also go pretty much as long. He's very fit himself. He's got a very good serve, so he can get a lot of cheap points as well, even against the likes of Djokovic. The only thing is that he doesn't really come to the net, so he doesn't change it up that much from that perspective. But Novak Djokovic knows he's going to have to play his very best to beat someone of Medvedev's stature and standard. And so there's going to be a little bit of pressure there as well.
But he is the form guy in the world right now. I say form guy, of course, it's the start of the year, but you have to factor in what happened at the back end of last year. Djokovic went 21-1 since the 26th of September. He's on a 32-match win streak in Australia since the start of 2019. Last loss coming against Hyung Chung in the 2018 Australian Open. He loves playing in this country, of course, wasn't allowed to last year, but he looks like he's going to make amends this year. He's also undefeated in the main draw at Adelaide, having won this tournament back in 2007. All sorts of other little factors coming into this one as well. If he was to win the semi-final here, Djokovic, he would break the tie with Nadal for the 4th most men's finals in the Open era. If he was to win in Sunday's final, he would then tie Nadal for the 4th most men's titles in the Open era. As we see there, head-to-head, 8-4. Djokovic leads. Incidentally, if Medvedev was to win, well, he would become just the 9th player overall to ever beat Novak Djokovic 5 times or more, and only the 5th active player to do so. So many stats and figures with these two. It's amazing, but there's a lot on the line. How significant could this match be, though, with regards to the Australian Open just around the corner?
I mean, massively. I think either person, they get the win over the other, they're going to feel so confident going into the Australian Open that they've beaten a very informed player, probably one of the hardest opponents they can have at the Australian Open or in Australia. So from one perspective, it's just the feeling of, you know what, I'm ready, I'm prepared, I'm playing great. There's also the added element of I've actually just beaten one of my biggest competitors, and that'll be in their mind when they have to play again, potentially, if they do have to play again. So realistically, and as well as that, everybody else in the field will be looking at it and going, wow, that guy is on fire. So my chances of beating them are going to be slimmer, you know. So they're all going to have the fear factor as well. Because everyone looks at little things. They look at, like, okay, Djokovic, he's a great player, but is he in form? And so you're going to have the fear factor of it's Novak Djokovic or Medvedev, the fear factor of they're in form, the fear factor of they've beaten the other guy who's in form. So there's a triple prong kind of thing where everyone's going to be like, wow, this guy's just dangerous.
That's why it's going to be absolutely fascinating. So for the right to face Seb Korda in the finally the Adelaide International, Novak Djokovic looking to try and win this title for the 2nd time in his career. He's looking to try and defeat Daniil Medvedev for the 9th time in his career. He's had the better of him of late on their last 3 encounters. The last 2 encounters were absorbing classics. He's getting the better of Medvedev, 7-6 in the 3rd at the Nitto ATP Tour Finals. And then that dramatic match in Astana where Medvedev had to retire going into the 3rd set, having been 2 points away from beating Novak Djokovic. So it has been the Serb who's had the edge over his opponent of late. What will happen in this 13th meeting between the two? Domingo, myself, Pete Rogers, to talk you through it. It'll be Djokovic to get us underway. Dom, you were talking during the warm-up about how these two will look to try and lay down a marker. Is there a chance that one of them might hold something back, not want to give too much away with the Australian Open around the corner?
I don't think so. I think that everyone, they're going to know each other's games off by heart. There's nothing they can really hold back that they don't already know. And I think that the element of getting the recent victory will counteract anything else they, you know, the little extra ace they have up their sleeve, that it's not, they don't have anything that significant.
30-15.
Just about found the line. I have to say I thought it had missed. And Djokovic thinks the same. Having thrown out the early challenge. He has caught the line.
Full stands, 30-15. Mr. Djokovic has 2 challenges remaining.
Has been a factor all throughout the week. I said he's only been broken twice so far this week, Djokovic.
40-15.
So often it's been the first serve setting up the forehand.
We've already seen 2 instances in this game that Djokovic came forward, even a serve and volley there at one point.
Let's for service.
Really smooth, quality game from Novak Djokovic. For you, who's looked better this week out of these two? I'm throwing out some tough questions early doors.
I'm going to say I actually think Medvedev has looked a bit better. I think his performances have been more clinical. You know, when you think about Djokovic playing against Shapovalov the other night, he felt it didn't feel like he was playing at his highest level. I think he's slowly building, and that's how players like of his caliber, that they do that. They don't go out 100% on match one. They are looking to improve as the tournament goes along. So I think he's got more in the locker still. Whereas Medvedev, I think, has actually started to reach his highest level sooner. That being said, they're both very close in terms of that highest level. And here we're seeing that evidence of that high quality serving that Medvedev can bring to the table as well.
Even though he lost the point there, Medvedev, the backhand up the line was the shot that wasn't quite there in his first match. Pretty comfortable there, but he's operating against a player like no other in terms of foot speed and ability to counterpunch.
I think it's an important point to note is that when you're playing against guys so athletic, and they can cover the court so well as both these guys do, just going for the open court is not as simple a thought process, because it really opens you up to the counter angle.
It's almost been the ideal preparation for both players so far, you would say. Both haven't dropped a set as of yet, but they've both been tested in matches. Just a game full of first serves from both players. Medvedev on the board nice and early too. Medvedev saved 9 set points in his win over Lorenzo Sonego. He said after the match that I'm not sure he's ever done that before. It was his slightly scrappy performance. You feel had he lost that set, who knows what would have happened. Djokovic really tested against Alice, who served for the first set. And Djokovic coming through a very tight second set as well. Second challenge being used already. So if he loses this one, he'll only have one challenge left for the rest of the match. But he doesn't lose it.
It's a good challenge, and as you said, he needed that to be in.
Two things for this match. Make sure you've got a comfy chair to watch it. Make sure you got your popcorn. These two players, you just feel in the backhand exchange, they could be there all day, all night. Last meeting, incidentally, lasted 3 hours and 9 minutes. As we see the Djokovic team. Gauff, of course, leading that team. Made a couple of changes to the team. Djokovic with Uli Badio. Claudio Zemalia has been brought back in. And of course, Marko Djokovic, his brother, added to the team as well this year.
Again,
Djokovic himself has talked about how quick these courts have been playing this week. Hot conditions today, and so far so good for the server as we are on serve. 2-1.
Yeah, well, we've seen Novak Djokovic use the serve and volley a little bit more in that second game as well. And that's what he has to do to counteract the fact that Medvedev is standing so far back, just able to put all the returns back in the court, and now he has to force him to maybe try and go for more. And we see the error that he pulled out of Medvedev just by coming forward, planting that doubt in Medvedev's mind.
Players have so much respect for one another. It's very complimentary of each other's games. Who do you think it's more important to out of the two, though, Dom?
I think Medvedev. I think he, you know, the recent matches, he hasn't had the win. Obviously, you know, he got the US Open win, which is the most recent, and that was obviously a big result. But I just think he needs a good performance here today, because I think Djokovic has got a lot of confidence that even though it's close matches, I think he's probably just got the edge, and there's probably more fear factor about him. So if Medvedev could score an upset here today, I think that would be I think just make it very, very tasty for Australian Open.
Quality tennis from the serve.
Love 15.
I don't think that's a bad tactic. I think bringing Novak Djokovic forward is where you'd rather have him. Obviously, if you give him a terrible drop shot,
15 all.
It's not going to help because he can just swat away an easy shot. But if you can get him volleying at the net, well, you'd rather that than him at the back.
Talk about this match being more important to Medvedev. I feel for the rest of the tour, it'll be more important that Medvedev gets the win. As I said during the warm-up, Djokovic on a 32-match win streak in Australia. And as we've said all week, he looks as sharp as ever. Movement, confidence, the shot selection.
15-40.
Yeah, I have to say, I mean, when we watched the Shapovalov match, he got into the match, but he didn't start off as quickly as he has here today. Today, he is right on it.
A little bit of a slow start as well against Alice.
30-40.
In the previous round. To recover from a breakdown in that set. Looking to go a break up here though. Second break point for the former world number 1. Well, he decided to go big, but too big. And it's first blood to Novak Djokovic as he breaks early.
Djokovic leads 3-1.
It's an interesting play there. So early on, it's not like Djokovic is absolutely seeing it like a football, although almost maybe, well, it does look a little bit like he's playing very sharp from the start. But he's not been, destroying his second serve.
Love 15. Out. 15 all. Mr. Medvedev.
Really disappointing there, you've got to love 15 and you've got a second serve. You've got to take any, well, it's not even a half chance, it's like a quarter chance, but you've got to jump on those moments.
Went to the challenge, doesn't go his way.
Mr. Medvedev.
Fault from Djokovic. He didn't think there'd be too many short points against Medvedev after his win over Shapovalov last night. But so far, he's been proved wrong.
quality of the serving has been really good from both players so far.
Did counteract it by saying, unless we both serve very well. Despite double fault, Djokovic has been exceptional behind the first serve. 9 from 9 so far, 71% first serve percentage. In fact, it's 10 from 10.
Talk about the quality of the serving, obviously the first serve percentage key, how efficient you are behind it, but I think what's also important to show is both players are struggling behind their second serves. Medvedev yet to win a point. Okay, it's only been a few games, and Novak only 1 from 4. So it just goes to show how important that first serve is against both opponents.
Brilliant serve though from Djokovic, who was coming forward behind it.
Advantage, Djokovic.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see either player, well, especially Djokovic, serving volume behind a T serve, because the thing is, it just opens up that you have to actually have some good volleys that can really find a corner, whereas if you do it behind a wide serve, it's just open court, easy volley afterwards.
I felt at times like we were stuck in a time warp. And this time it's Djokovic who wins the backhand duel, and with it backs up the break. Super start for the world number 5. He leads 4-1 first set.
Yeah, Novak really trying to mix in a few slices. Not that it's unseen, but you could definitely see there's a concerted effort to try and change up the rhythm of those backhands, because someone as capable as Medvedev can just go, as you said, all day on the backhand cross court, so you have to just change up the spins, change up the paces. Eventually he got the just rewards.
15 love.
This time it's Medvedev's turn to come forward with aplomb.
Yeah, that was a fantastic volley. Really good execution on that one. So maybe that's a little element that Medvedev is trying to work on or has been working on.
Yeah, this is why I asked the question whether one of these two players might hold something back, maybe a tactic back ahead of the Australian Open, whereas, as you so rightly answered, I think, Dom, as in maybe it's the other way round. Maybe we'll see. Okay, let's see if this one works. These two know each other's games so well. Deadly accuracy from Djokovic. Well, there's still half a chance for Medvedev to steal the point.
40-15.
Gilles Savara on the right. Really interesting interview in the off-season Medvedev did with Savara. That's the question, as in, you know, what sort of remit did you have? And he just said, carte blanche.
Okay, Medvedev.
What he means by that is just, he was completely trusting Gilles Savara, just basically saying, you do whatever you want, you guide me exactly how you want to guide me, and build the cathedral. And, I'm not sure how many other players might have put that amount of trust in a coach. But the rewards have been substantial.
Paula Badosa looking on.
Oh, just a little heavy-handed with the volley. And Medvedev makes Djokovic pay.
I think that's something where Djokovic, he knows that he needs to work on this game. Is he perfect there? No. But unless you try it out in these moments, you're never going to get better. And he's willing to accept a few lost points to maybe become a little bit more comfortable as it's slowly, and then have it in the big moments, in the big events.
15 all.
It's one of the most underrated serves in the business. I know, look, he's one, if not the greatest player of all time. It's not something we talk about that often, the Djokovic first serve.
Well, I mean, you know, if you're winning 92% of first serve points against Daniil Medvedev, you're doing something right.
It hasn't always been a big strength of his, particularly in the early years. I have to say, second half of his career, it's been monumental at times. Just shows you the class of these two players. The inside in from Djokovic wasn't right on the money, wasn't quite. If it's not quite right, You need to pay.
Yeah, he wanted to be aggressive, but as you saw, and you said it, just a little bit too central. And that's the thing, is then you leave yourself exposed on the cross court. That's why when you go line, you've got to be real sure you're choosing the right moment, and you've got to execute.
He's missed that one. This is a little concerning as well. A few injuries already this week, of course. Nishioka retiring earlier on. Sinner was close to retiring yesterday. Just wonder if he's tweaked something here.
I mean, he's one of the most flexible people I've ever seen on the planet. So, well, no, maybe not on the planet, but out of tennis players, let's put it that way. So for him to tweak that.
Oh yes, well, no issue with his movement there, and no issue whatsoever with that bazooka of a forehand.
And he really stepped up there. Medvedev just went into absolute not miss mode. Novak, the great champion that he is, stepped up when he needed to.
That is points one behind the first serve. Djokovic. 14 out of 16 so far in this one. It's only actually 4% higher than what he's done all tournament. 84% he's been winning throughout this week. Magnificent. Djokovic giving Medvedev the runaround. Almost toying with the world number 7. As he hangs on, saves the break point, and re-establishes the 3-game cushion for a 5-2 lead.
Ladies and gentlemen, the physio has been called to court.
Physio called for Djokovic, we presume.
But I love the play. I mean, before this shot, it was that short slice cross court, and I've referred it to in the past because I always remember, you know, when I grew up seeing Tim Henman use that on the clay against the clay quarters, and you know he'd bring in the player and then he'd just pick him off with a passing shot, and you even saw there when he hit that little short one, Medvedev got there, hit the ball and then try to scamper back because he didn't want to be at the net. Then he was all over the shot because he's in a no man's land. He's not comfortable. He's not balanced. And then it was a next drop shot, which wasn't even that good, but it was just, you know, Medvedev was in a bad place. So that play right there, I think, would work so well against not only Medvedev, but a lot of players out there just aren't as comfortable at the net as they used to be. And you know, you think that people would back themselves with the passing shots.
Looks like Djokovic is going to go off court here. Of course, mentioned earlier on, he's now got a new or old fitness trainer, no longer with Uli Badio. Claudio Zamalia joined him for parts of the year. Milan Romanovic. But he's looked super fit throughout this week. Everyone's been saying how sharp he's looked and his movement's been excellent. But I suppose if you've got a new fitness trainer, there's always, might be, doubts. Start of the year as well. You were telling me, actually, you found right at the beginning of the year, in Australia in particular, that it's sometimes harder than any other time in the year because of the travel out to the country.
Yeah, there is that element as well, but it's also you're just not playing that sort of match intensity which cannot be replicated, that neurological tension, even just from stress that suddenly comes in from playing matches that you haven't had in the off season. And okay, combine that with the travel. There's little elements that they just you know, they could kind of have little problems, and I think that's the thing, is a lot of players actually find at the beginning of the year is when they start feeling niggles. And actually when your body is hardened through travel, through playing tournaments, they actually feel a bit better, I would say, in the middle of the season. Obviously at the end of the season you get injuries as well, because you know, now it's a long season.
Yeah, talking of injuries, of course, we found out yesterday that sadly Carlos Alcaraz won't be at the Australian Open. Right leg injury, muscle in that right leg. So it's a bit of a freak injury that happened. So a natural movement in training. So sad not to see him at the Australian Open, because I think many were looking forward to seeing how he might get on against Novak Djokovic, with Djokovic's incredible run in Australia. A few worried minds. For Djokovic, the last thing we want, especially majority of Australian Open tennis fans, having not seen Djokovic for the best part of 2 years, for him missing it due to an injury. What did you make of what you saw there, Dom? As in, did it just look like a tweak or a niggle, more, or could he have actually pulled a muscle there?
I mean, I don't think he'd have pulled the muscle. I mean, technically a tweak is a minimal pull, but to do a full pull, you know, you wouldn't be running anymore. I think it's a tweak, and it's just a question, you're trying to stretch it out to make sure it's just not tension. If you get to a tweak, that's the thing, is you start thinking, okay, how much more do I want to risk this, push this? Again, Australian Open around the corner, don't want to be taking any risks. I think the most worried people would be the crowd right now, because I think it's something that will be better by the start of Australian Open if it's just a little tweak. But obviously this crowd wants to see this blockbuster match.
This was the final point of the game. In fact, was it? This was the moment here. It's a little jarring, but we haven't seen Novak do before.
Yeah, it's that real lunge out there, and then you just, all the weight goes into it, asking a lot from the muscle.
As we saw earlier on, Seb Korda, who awaits in the final, taking on Yoshihito Nishioka, and Korda won a really tight first set there, and then broke early on in the second set before Nishioka got some treatment for what looked like a right hip injury. We were paying credit to just how well Korda dealt with the situation in terms of waiting for Nishioka. We went into quite a debate about set plays, and from a psychological point of view, when you know a medical timeout is happening, what you should do in that time. Medvedev electing just to stay sat down, whereas Korda elected to do some tricks with the ball at the back of the court.
Well, Medvedev's in a slightly different position because he obviously has to figure out a way to claw back this match. And so maybe he's just there thinking about, okay, what can he do? What can he change? How does he try and shift this momentum around?
Incidentally, if you're wondering, this being a night match, why is he sat down? Won't he get cold? Well, I can tell you it's still 30 degrees Celsius right now. All that humid. Still very warm for this time of night. It's generally been idyllic playing conditions throughout the week, really, in Adelaide. It's been in the low 20s. Today was a lot hotter, around the mid-30s. It will be similar story tomorrow, likely to be around 35 degrees Celsius.
Well, the big element I think that you see at Australian Open is, and playing on hard courts, when you're playing in the heat is one thing when it hits you, the body, the sun, but when it's actually heating up the court and then the court is reflecting that up, so you feel like you're playing on an oven. I can't tell you that is worse. And actually when you go play, for example, in hot conditions on grass, sometimes during Wimbledon it can get quite hot, in the last couple of summers, or at the French Open, it's not that bad because the heat doesn't radiate off the court, whereas on hard courts, oof.
We've got a canopy here in
so
Adelaide.
it wouldn't be too bad here, I don't think.
Is that something you'd ever like to see the Australian Open add to a few of the courts?
Well, I mean, they already have 3 covered courts.
But in terms of when it's covered, isn't it, when it's raining rather than
well, I think the issue is that you've got too many courts out there, and it has to be, equal for everyone. So you can't have all the guys on centre court playing under a roof, and then everyone else has to play outside, even though they occasionally do that if there's the heat rule. They try and make it as equal as possible.
Need a lot of canopies, basically.
Yeah, well, I think there's there's something like 18 or 19 courts in play out there, on top of all the courts that are named and things like that. So yeah, pretty costly.
Well, the good news is that Novak is back in more ways than one in regards to Australia. He's back with a new racket because it's new balls here for Medvedev, serving to stay in the set. 2-5.
Love. Lads, first off. All. Thirty 15.
Kick on that serve. It's funny, isn't it, as well, after an injury timeout. It's just deflated the intensity a little bit.
Okay, Medvedev.
Service hold, though, for Medvedev, who will ask the question. Still not looking easily comfortable, and it does look like it has been taped. Just see a bit of taping.
Yeah, I think it might have been, yeah. Well, that's a little bit worrying sign. See, clearly the treatment hasn't completely got rid of the problem. And to be fair, in that short of a time, it's very difficult to fix anything. It's just a patch-up job, if anything. But Hopefully it's good enough.
Exquisite.
There's a good tactic, that, seeing that Medvedev was going to be on the dead stretch. How much pace you can put on the slice.
That's so good. Such an intelligent volley from Djokovic. And the overhead rock solid as well.
Yeah, using the volley, the back behind. It's very difficult to pass when you're unbalanced, even if you're right there. But he even hit a fantastic piercing volley.
Let second serve.
Once again, the first serve has been absolutely brilliant. Coming into this match, Djokovic had only lost 9 points all tournament behind the first serve. And he's only lost 11 now, which, if you're okay at maths, means it's just 2 in this opening set so far.
40-15.
There are 2 set points for the world number 5. Well, it's a set that will be slightly full of worry for Novak Djokovic. An injury issue, but outside of that injury, that was incredibly good, especially the serving from the Serb as he takes the opener 6-3 in 45 minutes.
And as you mentioned, the serving being key. We talked a little bit about how effective his serve is. Obviously, he can win points behind it, but he's getting a lot of cheap ones. He's getting a lot of, short responses, and that's why his first serve points won there. 89%. That's really, really, very impressive. And Medvedev, first serve percentage 77. That's pretty good. He's doing a good job there. Second serve points won 40%. obviously not good enough. That's probably why he's been broken. But Novak will be looking to improve his first set percentage. He had it.
Is this going to be tough for Djokovic to stay focused? Do you feel, Dom, if he is carrying a bit of a tweak, just in terms of how important the Australian Open is, but also that the fact that there's so many Djokovic fans here, both coming from Serbia and Australian Djokovic fans as well, as in, you know how much he loves the fans. So it's got to be a battle in his head, isn't it?
Yeah, of course he doesn't want to disappoint all the people who came out here to watch him. And I was literally about to say, I think that he might try and go for a little bit more now, try and shorten the points, not put such a toll on his body, and see if he can win like that.
It's interesting from Medvedev's point of view. The break point that he had came just after the injury issues for Djokovic, and seemed to batten down the hatch. Medvedev, do you feel he needs to change much in set 2?
No, I think he'll have a few more looks. But it's a very difficult proposition when you know your opponent's injured and they might start playing slightly differently. And you're thinking, okay, do I just kind of play defensively? Do I attack more? If he can carry on his level, I think he'll get a few looks, because Novak won't be covering the court just as aggressively. But the question is, can he keep that level? It's very difficult.
Looking pretty good there from Novak Djokovic's point of view.
30 all.
Big second serve there.
Ticks off the first game in the second set.
First game, second set.
Encouragement from his team.
We did see on the first point when Djokovic was running out to his forehand, he did pull up a little bit there. Clearly, you know, the long strides don't particularly help the issue that he's having, so maybe that's something that Medvedev will try and take advantage of. He'll try and get him stretching onto his forehand side.
Medvedev is hoping to try and reach what would be a 28th career ATP Tour final. Djokovic, as I mentioned earlier on, looking to try and reach a 131st final, which would put him one ahead of Nadal, and put him into 4th place on his own in the all-time ATP Tour finals reached. Djokovic looking to serve and volley. Some might say again, looking to keep the point short.
15 all.
And funny enough, this actually might be great for him, because if he wants to, you know, keep the points short, he'll have to work his serve and volley, and that's a great thing to be practicing. Adding that extra string to his bow.
Few worrying signs, aren't there?
15
actions after certain points.
Yeah, a lot of, you know, because you're putting a lot of weight there on that left leg when you stamp down, so to speak, for the volley.
Length, first off.
He's serving. Doesn't need too much movement.
40-30.
What Goran will be thinking as well right now.
He's serving like me.
To come through the game. And it's interesting what you were saying, Dom, with regards to Djokovic hoping to try and keep the point short. And also from a psychological point of view, I suppose him continuing here is that if he continues with a different brand and he goes on to lose, he's then still at least got that, well, okay, that wasn't, I was holding something back, wasn't able to play to my fullest. So it wouldn't be as a damaging loss as it would have been.
No, I mean, at the moment, irrespective of what happens now, not that I'm saying he's intending it, but he has a built-in excuse. You don't like to use excuses, you still want to win, but... for your own ego, which is, you know, ego is very important in tennis. I don't mean it as a bad thing, it's a very fragile thing, your self-confidence. Whatever happens now, he'll be like, I won a set playing good tennis when I was healthy.
40-9.
Oh, finds the line there. And on the subject of ego and self-belief.
40-50.
Ego and self-belief like almost no other. And again, I only mean that with positivity. I told the story of Mark Woodford when he was a 17-year-old saying, I'll be #1 one day.
Okay, Medvedev.
When he first came to this tournament, believed he should have had a wild card into the main draw.
Medvedev leads 2-1.
The mind is like no other. Medvedev able to hold for a 2-1 lead second set. been a brilliant event. Adelaide International, and said all the way through really that it's been a lineup like a Grand Slam event rather than an ATP 250. Whoever comes through this one, we are guaranteed it should be a brilliant final. Seb Korda's been playing some electric tennis all week. Still yet to drop a set, the American. He awaits the winner of this one. But right now, very much in the balance. Djokovic took the first set, but seemingly not 100%.
The good signs are that he's, still eating his dates and drinking his hydration drinks. Those aren't things that you're going to be doing if you're thinking about pulling out in a game's time. So.
Thanks, boy.
More often than not, serving and volleying with real authority.
That's a great volley.
30 love.
And again, these will just be instances that actually will give him confidence. He can, hit these shots more often or use these plays more often.
We've talked about it in the past, being a fairly useful tactic against Medvedev because he's so deep in the court for the return. He's got to travel a long way. Doesn't even matter where you are hitting serves like that. Still only dropped the 2 points behind the first serve. That's now 22 from 24. And as I say, he's dropped just 9 points all week in the first serve. You'd never guess who his coach was, would you? Oh, well, what a get that is from Medvedev. I don't think even Djokovic was expecting it to come back.
Yeah, the angle as well. It's so low, it was impossible to attack from. Great defense.
Love. 40-50.
Just a second double fault, because the first one came on the break point, which is the only break of serve we've had so far in this encounter. Just missed it. And they remain on serve in set 2. Medvedev in front, 3-2.
Medvedev leads 3 games to 2.
Djokovic said earlier on this week isn't just what it meant to him to have such a great reception from the fans on his return to Adelaide. The fans here have certainly had a good time. Sellout crowd tonight. And those that are in here, a bit of twisting and shouting. It's always a huge contingent from the Balkans, based in South Australia. 100,000 Serbs live in Australia altogether. Feels like almost every single one of those have been itching to try and get a glimpse of Djokovic. Packed every time he stepped onto the tennis court here in Adelaide. It's going to be the same story in Melbourne in a week or so's time as well.
15 love.
It just feels that injury break has put Medvedev out of a bit of a rhythm. We haven't seen too many long rallies since that injury.
No, as I mentioned before, it's just so difficult when you're playing against an injured opponent to your focus completely changes. Start thinking, okay, I have to, as I mentioned, you're in two minds. Okay, I have to play in a way now to, to make his injury worse, and you go away from your game style, and then you're thinking he can't do certain shots, and then you're upset when he does do certain things that you thought he couldn't, and it messes with your brain so much.
Well, he's starting to move a little sharper. Serving and volleying a lot, but happy to trade at the back. That was some trading from the former world number 1.
I think his backhand side doesn't seem to have any problems there. So that's business as usual, which is always scary anyway.
It's a really good hold. Different type of hold we've seen in this set from Djokovic.
3 games all.
3 games apiece.
Well, Djokovic still 100% on first serve. That's a scary stat. With a bad leg. As you rightly point out, he seems to starting to move a little bit better. Maybe, you know, if he took some painkillers or something like that, they're starting to kick in a bit more. The area's warmed up a bit.
Majority of the crowd with Djokovic. Seen so many Serbian flags throughout the week. Oh, that's a glorious return. Most of the players, it's probably got them on the stretch, but not Djokovic.
15-13.
Yeah, it looked like he read it. He was already split-stepping to that side.
Needed to be a little better, didn't it? The swing serve. That one certainly was.
30 all.
Yeah, that definitely had some movement on it.
It's got to be that good to stop Djokovic getting even a racket on it. Quality tennis once again from Novak Djokovic. And these are dangerous moments for Daniil Medvedev.
30.
Which team starting to believe?
He's just on a squeeze just at the right time.
Missed it again. It's deja vu for Daniil. Double fault in the first set, cost him the break. Has he gone and done it again? Both players going to the sit down, even though Medvedev has challenged this. But it is long, and it's Djokovic who breaks first in set 2 for a 4-3 lead.
Yeah, well, it's been a topsy-turvy set, this one. Definitely more muted. The points have been different. You definitely feel like Medvedev has just gone off the boil a little bit ever since the injury timeout that Djokovic took.
And has that, in a way, thrown Medvedev out of a rhythm? I mean, it was just a brilliant game, though, in truth, from Djokovic.
Yeah, no, he definitely stepped up his level there. He got some great returns going. And we mentioned it, you know, he looks a little bit better in terms of his movement. And so when he's stepped up his level, Medvedev is still lingering in that sort of uncertainty of what's going on. It's a dangerous place to be.
they will know that their player has played better before. But he's played poorly tonight. I kind of felt first set he was out-duelled. As you were saying, Dom, second set, playing against someone who was throwing in the serve and volley, looked a little injured. And then all of a sudden, springing to life. He's rather caught Medvedev in his trap. So the challenge here for Medvedev, I mean, he's got to try and find a way to break the Djokovic serve. He's only created one break point all match. Is there anything different he can do off the return, or is Djokovic just serving too well?
I mean, Djokovic is serving unbelievably well. And if he continues like that, I'm not really sure what he can do. I mean, you can start acting like you would be against Isner and maybe take a few chances by guessing. But it's a bit of a risky play.
New balls hit. The serve up 4-3 with the break.
Love 15.
Well, that wasn't close. Bit of a strange one.
He was just stretching out his leg again, wasn't he? Sit down. Just when he thought the injury had probably gone away. Type of ball he knows he needs to make. Didn't miss by much. Again, a chance at love 15. A lot better. Super positive tennis from Medvedev.
15-30.
It's time for him to step up. Otherwise, he's going home. So, well, not quite home, but he's exiting the tournament. So, you really just have to go all guns blazing now. And maybe the fact that he's been broken gives him a bit of freedom.
Mr. Medvedev challenging the call. Left service line, the ball's gone in.
I'll challenge that one.
Stands 30 all. Mr. Medvedev has one challenge remaining.
Oh, it's outrageous. Djokovic did unbelievably well to dig out the volley, but Medvedev was ready once more.
He was hitting that return next to the line umpire. Incredible return.
30-40.
Just about to say that both players have been pretty muted throughout this match. Medvedev getting maybe himself and the crowd going with that point. And here is a chance to get the break straight back. Good second serve, that is. And maybe that's going to be the difference. We've seen Medvedev twice go for big second serves and twice miss them. Djokovic makes his.
I mean, that's a page out of the Cressy playbook right there. Bigger second serve than your first. Even Goran Ivanisevic was laughing at the side.
Couldn't do it again. This is typical Djokovic, isn't it? Just say, okay, produce that 10 out of 10 return again. That's great ball striking. It's taken a while to get going, this semi-final, but now it's coming to life.
Yeah, well, Medvedev knows this crowd wants to see a third set. And they're cheering the underdog in that sense.
Ladies and gentlemen, please do not shout out during the points.
Worst time, he's just started to miss first serves, Djokovic, in this game. Medvedev again, taking full advantage.
And Medvedev is showing up just at the right time as well.
Ready for play, thank you.
It's a precious first serve again, though. Just when his first serve percentage was lacking. It's down to 54% in this match. As much as we've praised him for the amount of points he's won behind the first serve, I want that percentage to be a little higher, Djokovic. Back to juice we go. Down the line. Fourth time in a row he served out wide in that position, and that one the best of the lot.
Yeah, he's really come up with some great serves when he needed them.
It's a massive hold for the world number 5. And is that Medvedev's best chance to get back into this match gone? As it's world number 7's turn. Well, I don't know whether he was mocking Djokovic there or whether he has an issue himself. It might have been a little bit of a mock. Don't know what you think, Tom.
Thank you.
He's got a little wry smile on his face.
As I said earlier, they've both got so much respect.